Donald Trump really thought that we had all just moved on from the Epstein story, that if he pretended it had gone away, if Pam Bondi defied the rule of law, that everyone would just forget. He could distract us with shiny objects or Greenland or something else. But that is not the case today. And it is largely because of what Bill Clinton, of all people, just did. And we are gonna get into it. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, it is not just Bill Clinton today causing a huge Epstein bombshell for Trump. It is a worker at a Ford plant as well as Republicans in Congress. And I want to start with those Republicans in Congress and the latest updates from Ari Melber right here.
A lot of controversy for Donald Trump's presidency. He is facing accusations of breaking the law abroad and at home, and a big legal inquiry that has taken up most of our broadcast tonight with that terrible shooting in Minneapolis. Now, I want to turn to lawmakers dialing up pressure on DOJ under Trump for breaking a different law, which is another big story that he might prefer to go away. The DOJ is breaking the Epstein law that Trump signed, the Epstein Transparency Act. They have released a tiny portion of files when they faced the original deadline, which landed in December, exactly 1 month after the humiliating loss that Trump faced when his own party rebuffed him and required him to stop hiding documents and covering up for Epstein for whatever reasons Trump and his policies had done. And now we see lawmakers in both parties saying that it is clear that Trump DOJ is breaking the law, and they're threatening criminal sanctions over that.
Typically, like with contempt, you might refer that to the DOJ, and then the DOJ never prosecutes itself. And then the problem goes away at the end of the Congress because it's contempt because they're not in compliance with the congressional subpoena, which expires at the end of Congress. This law does not expire at the end of Congress, and so they've got a real problem. The contempt that the Congress refers, they could be in jeopardy of that even after this Congress expires.
Massey is speaking in sort of the legal process there, but the bottom line about the real problem he's mentioning is a reference to that soon enough, and mind you, he's a Republican, he's saying they could be out of office, and an ensuing administration could actually hold them in contempt, and people could get in trouble. Chuck Schumer says Congress wants that list of government officials that's required and asks what they're hiding. There's also the admission from the DOJ that there's 2 million Epstein documents still under review, with 12,000 documents that reach up to over 100,000 pages released. That would actually mean they've only done 1% of the files that they say exist. Lawmakers turning to external pressure. A bipartisan group wants an audit of this process. Democratic senators also trying to put the heat specifically on Trump's chief of staff, seeking more information because she claimed in a recent interview that she's looked over these files that Trump has named but isn't doing anything awful. Trump's DOJ has said this review could take weeks more. This is after they've had 6 weeks, give or take, and claimed they'd done a review and claimed they had 200 lawyers working on this. Any normal law firm dealing with this type of investigation and request would have completed it by now. So what are they hiding?
If this were a private law firm with 5% of the resources.
The Republicans who Donald Trump decided he would declare war on in Congress over the Epstein files are not just going to move on from the Epstein files. Thomas Massey wasn't in this for Donald Trump to sign the Transparency Act and then move on and pretend like nothing happened. No. He wants these files to be released. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, now that she has all of her time devoted to attacking Donald Trump, is certainly going to be on this beat even more. So I don't know why he thought everyone would just pack up and move on, especially his own base, which was previously obsessed with this. Now some of them still care about it. Clearly a worker at this Ford plant did today. Now I don't know if he was a Republican, a disaffected Republican, or a Democrat. Considering that he called out Donald Trump, called him a pedo protector, and infuriated him. I'm sure he's a progressive Democrat. I think we can help, but this clip just killed me before we get to Clinton. Donald Trump so furious for being called a pedo protector? He flipped him off. And does Donald Trump really think we're just gonna move on? I hope we get a crazy meltdown of an Epstein post tonight. I didn't do it. It's all the Democrats. Da-da-da-da-da. But Donald Trump knows he's taking a lot of losses recently, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. He is trying desperately to shift our attention. But what Bill Clinton just did today, the bombshell he dropped on Donald Trump, is going to shift more focus to Epstein. Clinton fails to show for Epstein deposition, threatened with contempt of Congress. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer threatened Tuesday to hold Bill Clinton in contempt of Congress after the former president declined to appear before the panel for a closed-door deposition related to its investigation of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. I think it's very disappointing, Comer told reporters Tuesday. We will move next week in the House Oversight Committee to hold the former president accountable, hold him in contempt of Congress. Clinton and his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, were among 10 individuals the panel voted in July to subpoena for testimony related to crimes committed by Epstein and his former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. Hillary Clinton is scheduled to testify Wednesday, but does not plan to appear. Now, this is bad news for Donald Trump for several reasons. The first being any attention on Epstein, no matter if Trump is trying to direct it at Bill Clinton, is bad attention. Donald Trump doesn't want us talking about this. It also shows that James Comer has had the ability to call people into Congress. And hasn't that they haven't wanted Ghislaine Maxwell to testify, that they haven't wanted other Epstein associates to testify. James Comer was actually, in fact, asked Donald Trump wanted to testify in this clip right here. I want to take a look before, of course, we get into the rest of these reasons.
We will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress.
Yeah,
with that, be happy to answer any questions real quick.
Mr. Chairman.
Anybody on the committee?
Will you roll out bringing Donald Trump in for an interview
Well,
in this investigation?
President Trump has answered thousands of questions about Jeffrey Epstein. In fact, I would say today, you all ask him questions every day. He answers questions every day about Epstein.
Will you roll out?
Well, you can't bring in a current president of the United States, and you all know that. So, but President Trump has answered thousands of questions about Epstein. I bet today, at some point, some of you all will ask President Trump questions about Epstein. He answers those questions. To my knowledge, former President Clinton has never answered questions about Epstein, and we just had questions because, again, I think anyone would admit they spent a lot of time together.
So, yeah, James, why can't Donald Trump testify? Why? Why won't you have him testify? This is immediately blown up in Donald Trump's face again because of that attention again, because it shows that Comer doesn't care. But also, Donald Trump wants you to believe that the Epstein files are a series of photos of people accidentally bumping into dinner at with Jeffrey Epstein, right? That is what Donald Trump has tried to say, that these are one-off incidents, that they don't even amount to anything. So saying that you need to haul Bill Clinton in before Congress and ask him a series of questions about his relationship to Epstein, Secretary Clinton's relationship with Epstein, a whole number of things. Doesn't that make it seem like there's more to unpack here? Shouldn't that mean we need more transparency? Shouldn't that lead you to believe that there's more to be uncovered? And that's what Donald Trump doesn't want. But that is what he is getting right now, as Republicans once again accidentally this time have screwed him. But it seems like Donald Trump is being screwed everywhere you look because he's suffering a couple of losses. And Rachel Maddow broke it down right here.
You might not have noticed the news today. You might not have seen the headline today that today a federal court blocked the Trump administration from cutting energy funding just for blue states. This is billions of dollars Congress appropriated for clean energy projects of various kinds all over the country. Trump administration decided, and they admitted this, they decided that just in blue states, just in states that didn't vote for Trump, they would cut all of that funding. They'd leave the funding in place in states that voted for Trump. They would cut it in states that didn't vote for Trump. A federal court today ruled that that is illegal and stopped the Trump administration from doing that. That ruling today came after another federal court today stopped Trump from shutting down a big offshore wind farm in Rhode Island and Connecticut. Trump's shutdown of that project, according to the courts today, was also illegal. And so yet another federal court blocked Trump on that as well, so that work on the wind farm will be able to go ahead. Both of those rulings today follow last night yet another federal court blocking Trump, this time from cutting funding to the American Academy of Pediatrics. This is a doctors group, a pediatricians group that criticized the flock of ducks level insane quackery at Trump's Department of Health and Human Services under RFK Jr. Trump responded by canceling federal grants for the American Academy of Pediatrics. A judge has now ruled that that was illegal retaliation, and so Trump is blocked from doing that. That funding has to be reinstated. That ruling comes after another federal judge just blocked Trump from cutting off federal election funds to states in retaliation for them not changing their election rules in ways that Trump wants. The judge said, quote, "The Constitution assigns no authority to the president over federal election administration." And so Trump got blocked on that one, too. Shall I keep going? I could keep going. Another federal court just blocked Trump from freezing billions of dollars for childcare and social services for kids, again, in Democratic-run states, as some kind of punishment against those states for electing Democrats, punishing them for that by cutting off the Temporary Assistance to Needy Families program. Because, what would Jesus do? Trump was also just blocked from doing that by yet another federal court. It's almost like he is losing all the time and everywhere now. There may still be people in America who are shocked that Trump keeps breaking the law over and over again, blatantly and insistently. The courts no longer appear to be shocked by that. And the courts now are just telling him no, very bluntly, every single day and often multiple times a day. And it's not even just the courts. As I know you are aware, last week in one 48-hour stretch, we had a Senate vote for a war powers resolution to block Trump from any further military adventurism in Venezuela. 5 Republican senators crossed over to side with Democrats to pass that war powers resolution. It was enough to advance that. It's going to get another vote in the Senate this week. That came right on the heels of 17 Republicans in the House breaking ranks with Trump and siding with Democrats on the Affordable Care Act.
The man cannot stop losing. He cannot stop losing, and I am really going to enjoy watching it all. We are certainly going to on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let him silence you until next time. I'll see you soon.